All right, how is everybody doing? John here once again. Let's talk about some of the trending articles in the crypto news space. We're getting to the end of August and things are looking interesting. Quite a few days of bloodbath we saw in the markets. My holdings took a pretty big hit. I can only hope that you guys did not suffer as bad as me. But yeah, uh, as always, thanks to all those who have subscribed. I really do appreciate it. I enjoy knowing that someone out there other than me seems to be enjoying this. And as always, all the things we talk about today, there's a link down in the description or the links to the articles themselves. You can either follow the link and take you to where you can find the articles, or you can check out the articles themselves straight off, depending on where you're finding this. So let's hop on in. Cardano, not crazy good news, but still pretty good news. At the end of last month, for those of you who don't know, Cardano shipped its highly anticipated mainnet Shelly alongside network staking capabilities. Protocol is still in the process of transitioning over to a 100% user staking system as of right now. User stake pools, non-federated stake pools that are managed directly by the IOHK, Cardano Foundation, or the Emergo teams. Those stake pools are currently generating, I believe it's like 20% of the transactions on the network as they continue to scale up to 100%. But on August 23rd, the first day of rewards, 7 million ADA, or $831 million, was handed out. On August 28th, IOHK expects 12 million ADA to be given out. So they're giving a decent amount of stuff. So according to the Cardano Staking Calculator, rewards currently sit in an annualized return of approximately 5.1%, which is 0.5% higher than the estimate put forward before Shelly's launch. They're actually pretty happy with that. I'm pretty happy with that too. I mean, 0.5% is a decent chunk of change, especially if this stuff ever hits $1 again. Ju added that there are already 40,221 addresses that are staking a total of 13.6 billion ADA. Arampa June is the Cardano product director over at IOHK. There's over 1,000 stake pools already active. People are doing a lot. Prior to Sunday's initial staking handout, there's a total pool of 13.8 billion ADA, or roughly $1.6 billion, reserved as staking incentives for network participants every 5 days, or epoch in Cardano terminology. 0.3% of this total reserve, around 41 million ADA, or 4.7 million smackaroonies, is distributed among all active stakers. So they're incentivizing people to get in and establish themselves. That's essentially what they're doing. And the way they're doing this is giving away a little bit extra, which they had set aside for this express purpose for quite some time. So Hoskinson stated, "I just want to make sure everyone got what they expected and the staking calculator was accurate if there were any problems or if everything was looking good." And he was doing that on Periscope on Sunday. So they're definitely pretty involved with what is going on. And as always, the handover seems to be going good. I'm a little annoyed. The staking pool I delegated to didn't get no rewards, assuming I did things right. That's the key, assuming I did things right. So, yeah, not too shabby for Cardano. Things seem to be going swimmingly for them, other than the price is dropping like a rock. But, yeah. Speaking of Cardano competitors, though, let's hop over and talk about Tezos. We haven't really talked about them a lot, but they just announced something pretty interesting. So they recently announced integration of Harbinger price oracles. So the oracles work by harvesting crypto prices from major exchanges in real time, which is a crucial component for DeFi. So, crypto project Tezos has recently announced this integration. This move will allow the project to make another steps toward expanding into decentralized finance. Now, Harbinger will send this info that it's going to be collecting to Tezos network directly which will make it DeFi ready. The project will also use a similar method to Tezos' delegated staking to enable delegated and pre-funded price oracles. So Tezos, they're doing some steps. They know what they need to do to succeed in the DeFi network, and they've got oracles, so they're getting there. Be interesting to see what that does to Tezos' price. It's been in the top 10 a few times by market cap, so a DeFi explosion, might be seeing something pretty good. So yeah, so the move's going to be highly beneficial for Tezos. It's crucial. What they're doing is going to be crucial for DeFi, and they've already made other moves to moving towards DeFi style operations, such as seeing the launch of the Staker DAO platform for secure governance and financial assets. Oh, look at that. Expansions. Get that out of there. So, real-time price feeds are what allows protocols to create loans with collateral and come up with accurate prices used in tokens, swaps, and among other uses. Furthermore, Harbinger will allow users to pay fees for posting price data via the staking rewards that Tezos holders are already receiving. So they're doing some interesting stuff. Harbinger was created by a company called Blockscale. They do create and manage proof of stake validators for the Tezos Foundation. So they're working close-ish with them for this type of thing. And I'm going to be interested to watch and see what Tezos is going to bring to the table. I didn't realize they were working on DeFi and that they've already taken a couple steps towards it. So we could see the launch of the Tezos DeFi platform as soon as the end of this year. What that'll do for the price, I'm not sure. But it's definitely something to keep an eye on. All right. So we went from Cardano to a Cardano competitor to the Cardano competitor doing DeFi to a DeFi program. So, got an interesting thing here. A new compound governance proposal from Gauntlet founder Tarun Chitra would see all future comp token distributions locked into a vesting schedule. That's interesting. So, this proposal was submitted recently, and it outlines a few different ways that vesting could be implemented. One would involve discrete vesting, where tokens could be claimed at periodic intervals, while other proposes continuous vesting that frees tokens gradually as they reach maturity. If you don't know what vesting is, it's actually fairly common with a lot of companies with 401ks. To get their matching, it takes a year for it to fully vest. A lot of companies, I don't like that they do it. Basically, oh, you put in 6%, well, we'll match 6%. But it'll take a year before it fully vests. So if you leave the company prior to a year, they can get their money back. Kind of shisty if you ask me. Then again, I come from companies that don't do vesting. Companies that do that tend to have a lower match, though. So it's a little, you win some, you lose some. But I'd rather have that money and know that it's there personally. So I don't like the idea that Compound might be considering this, but he does have an argument for it, I guess. Either solution would be in stark contrast to how the reward system currently is set up, with no vesting, so you just get your rewards. With no vesting, yield farmers can simply pool their liquidity to earn comp and immediately sell it on the market. This has resulted in a somewhat perverted incentive scheme that goes against the stated purpose of the comp token distribution. The idea behind it is to distribute ownership and governance of the platform to its users, but in reality, the distribution is currently dominated by whales who are looking for instant profit. They earn their comp, they sell their comp. They earn their comp, they sell their comp. Versus actually being invested in the long-term success of the protocol. So I can kind of see why adding vesting would help the protocol in that sense. It would discourage people who are simply on the platform to earn comp to sell comp. It would try to drive things more to those who are engaged. I just don't know what that will do to comp's price. I could see it negatively being affected in the short term because people who are in it purely for that, they'll leave comp and go to a different DeFi protocol where there is no vesting. So I could see that kind of hurting things. So it's going to be interesting to watch how this plays out, quite honestly. Compound is rarely the most remunerative yield farming protocol. It has been the most stable and high volume source of yield due to largely its relatively steep distribution curve and high market cap. Current base yields amount to about 8% APY, which can be approximately tripled by entering a leveraged DAI position, so you can get up to 24%. Either way, it would be interesting because it could hurt liquidity, it could hurt revenues, it could, have people go into other protocols. It's an interesting proposal and one that I think should be debated amongst the compound holders, but I don't know if I would want to make this change personally. So, we'll see. All right, here, let's hop on over. Monero just announced a hard fork. So, according to a publication by privacy activist and Monero contributor known as Air Sissoni, the privacy coin will undergo a major network upgrade on October the 17th. Network upgrades are technically hard forks and will require all participants in the Monero network to update their software. However, there will be no split and no new coin created from this, according to EC. Let's just call him EC. So the network upgrade will introduce a new ring signature construction, which is called CL-SAG. It would replace the current ML-SAG. This would allow Monero to reduce transaction size by 25% and improve verification performance by 10%. So not too bad. Make things a little bit more efficient for them. Additionally, Monero will see an improvement in its security. CL-SAG has a more robust security model. Therefore, their signatures will be smaller, faster, and have more stringent security. So pretty good. The software, EC clarified, will be released 1 month prior to... Sorry, I just saw a mouse in the corner of my room. That's lovely. So the software will be released 1 month before the network update on September 17th of this year. At the time of launching the new software, there will be instructions on how to complete the update of Monero wallets and nodes. Interesting. Good for Monero. They're keeping the upgrade, making things safer, more secure. It's a good privacy coin. I really do like it. So we'll keep an eye on her. Let's see how she does in a few months once this goes down. See if it actually splits or not. Alright. Touching on Chainlink just a little bit. Obviously, the market itself has kind of went... But Chainlink continues to face increased selling pressure after that insanity that was a 20% price at the just about 10 days ago. Link consolidated to about lows around $13. Since then, the price has stabilized in the $14 to $15 range. But Link's price has drawn 5 lower highs since the fall from $20, which is a bearish sign. So the focus now is watching on the range between $13.50 and $12.91 to see if it can hold its support. If it does it, Chainlink's adjusted 7-day average transaction volume is actually in 3rd place amongst cryptocurrencies that aren't stablecoins: Bitcoin, Ethereum, and then Chainlink. So they're still doing pretty well. The fundamentals for this coin are strong. Just the market downturn with the fact that if you rise that quickly, there's gonna be some pullback. I'd hope for Chainlink to consolidate in the $13 to $15 range for a couple weeks, and then have another breakout. But that remains to be seen. But alrighty. Well, hey, we are halfway there. Fivel, that's what I'm gonna name this mouse, went running, so I'm gonna go see if I can't track him down real quick. I'll be no time to you, but I'll pop back here in just a second. Alright, well, I am back. Mousetraps are set. Let's hop on over and talk about JP Morgan's blockchain Quorum. Will Martino, the former lead engineer for JP Morgan's first blockchain, Juno, shared his insights into the project's acquisition by Consensus. For those of you who don't know, JP Morgan and Consensus entered into agreement in which JP Morgan kind of like sold them Quorum, but then invested in Consensus. So his belief is that while the technology was good, it inherited fundamental flaws from Ethereum, and that was why they kind of wanted to divest. But details regarding this recent acquisition, weird investment thingy, are pretty sparse. But it was noted that divesting in Quorum, they made the investment into Consensus. Quorum was a real attempt at making Ethereum technology stick in an industrial setting, but it's being rehomed, and I don't think there's really going to be a lot of progress down the line from Consensus, says Martino. He also stated the real issue with Quorum was that it just does not scale. This may come as a surprise, considering that it was built as a private fork of Ethereum, and as such does not involve mining. According to Martino, he said it actually stems from the Ethereum's virtual machine. It bottlenecks for whatever reason, and they're not able to get past it. It's unclear whether JP Morgan has lost interest in blockchain tech altogether or just in this in-house experiment. Personally, I think that they did this in-house. It didn't work because the technology they're basing it off of is flawed. It's primitive. We're still learning. Ethereum is a slow network, so they divested from what they saw as a failing enterprise to then buy into Consensus. So they're still sticking with the Ethereum blockchain. They're just doing it in a different way. Martino does not believe that the bank will switch to Hyperledger, which is a popular solution for enterprise companies. In Martino's opinion, it's actually worse than Quorum, which he had actually called best in class at one point. So even though Quorum was bad, saying Hyperledger is worse. So they're going to stick with Ethereum for a little bit longer. But interesting to see JP Morgan pulling the old switcheroo. Still can't buy it with crypto with my JP Morgan credit card, so maybe fix that. All right. So Mexico, hopping to the next article. Mexico's Financial Intelligence Unit recently published the results of its second national risk assessment. The report highlighted the risk of money laundering in the banking sector far surpasses issues encountered by fintech companies. So according to El Economista, the so-called G7 banking group, BBVA, Santander, Citibank Mex, Bank Nord, HSBC, Scotiabank, and Innsbrucka register significantly more money laundering in Mexico than blockchain firms. Hey, look at that. So during a virtual conference in August, an official from the UNIF mentioned that crypto does pose a risk for illicit activities and noted that the entity still considers the technology to be an emerging risk. Yeah, well, you gotta watch it, duh. But banks are still the biggest problem. So it's worth noting that Mexico's blockchain and financial technology industries have nearly doubled in size in just 2 years, according to data provided to Cointelegraph Español. So there you go. They are definitely money laundering everywhere all the time. Yeah, they're doing it on crypto, but guess what? Banks are still the worst culprits. So, pew, 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 look at us winning. Alrighty. So, CoinCheck, hopping on over to the next one. So CoinCheck is joining forces with HashPallet to launch an initial exchange offering, or IEO. HashPallet is working with Japanese media companies to develop an ecosystem for creating and exchanging unique non-fungible tokens, or NFT assets. CoinCheck has been the victim of 2 high-profile hacks of 2018, but they are still the largest crypto exchange in Japan. So yeah, they're going to be distributing HashPallet's PLT token. HashPallet will use non-fungible tokens on Ethereum to provide Japanese cultural content like manga, sports, and music. PLT tokens, meanwhile, will facilitate payments for exchange goods on a secondary market on the Pallet blockchain platform. Initial exchange offerings, or IEOs, function similar to initial coin offerings. but kind of different. They are theoretically subject to closer scrutiny. They are only available through centralized exchanges after the exchange reviews and approves them as legitimate projects with reasonable prospects to deliver on their advertised goals. Binance does this pretty regularly. They do IEOs like this. They've been pretty successful, quite honestly. So interested to see about Hashpallet and how CoinCheck's going to get into the game. So Hashpallet was founded this year in March. It's the result of a joint venture between software development company LinkU and blockchain innovation company Hashport, both based out of Japan. So they haven't set a date, but they're planning on it. And yeah, like I had said before, CoinCheck is one of Japan's most popular currency exchanges, claiming more than 2.8 million users. Oh man, it did have 2 hacks though. It was a couple years ago. NEM tokens, NEM, valued at more than 500 million, were swiped from the exchange. There was another one, they were hacked, but they didn't actually, lose any crypto. Just personal details from customers got leaked. Not a great thing either. But yeah, interested to see how CoinCheck puts their spin onto the IEO and how Hashpallet does. Cool. And then to round things out, Fidelity has filed for Regulation D exemption with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, or SEC, for a Bitcoin-based financial product. So known as the Wise Origin Bitcoin Index Fund, the product falls under the Pooled Investment Fund category, according to the Form D filing. Entities can offer a financial security without the SEC stamp of registration approval as long as they file a Form D with the Commission. Peter Juber, Fidelity's president, filed the Form D for the Bitcoin Index product, which touts a $100,000 minimum investment, so yeah, no big deal. We'll all be able to do that. The filing lists the product under a 506B federal exemption, which allows Fidelity to offer the product to as many accredited investors as it desires. So they're jumping into the game, but under this, they are not allowed to advertise the product to the general public. So there we go. Another large investment company is expanding into the crypto market. When 100K Bitcoin? We've got so many people in this game, so many people with skin, and just the fundamentals are there. We're going to hit 100K. The question isn't if, the question is when. So, yeah. Good for Fidelity, though, and good for those of you who have $100,000 that you can invest into their blockchain Bitcoin index fund. What fun. But hey, those were the trending articles for what I got for you. Everything's green. I mean, after the past couple of days. Bitcoin, let's do a quick refresh. Bitcoin's up pretty much exactly 1%. Ethereum's up just over 1%. XRP's up 0.25%. Chainlink is up about 7%. $15.27. Good for them. Ooh, Bitcoin Cash actually negative 0.3%. Litecoin's pretty flat. Bitcoin SV is pretty flat. Crypto.com coin is also pretty flat. Binance coin's up 4%. Those would be your top 10. Cardano's chilling at 11. EOS at 12. Tezos at 13. Oh, all these coins. Aave, 83 cents. Nice. Not gonna lie, I almost bought some last night and I got distracted by the wife and I forgot, and darn. So, if you made it to this point, you might as well subscribe. And if you are here and you have subscribed, thank you. Do appreciate it. I'll be back with another episode, ideally tomorrow. Had a crazy day at work yesterday. You know how it goes. Living that life. So, that does it for today, and I'll talk to y'all tomorrow. Peace.